So go ahead and turn on the evening news. Let them spoon feed lies to you. Oh yes, and well go ahead and trust those wolves in fancy clothes. Let them tell you what you think you need to know. Some say you get what you pay for. Others say you get what you need. But if you ain't got shit to stand for, then why the hell do you play? Some people say that you get what you deserve. Others say you get what you get. But if it don't break your leg or pick your pocket, why judge a man on how he lives? So go ahead and turn on the morning news. Drink your coffee and eat your everything bagel too. Oh yes, and make sure you let them tell you who to hate today. It's gonna change tomorrow anyway. Some say you get what you pay for. Others say you get what you need. But if you ain't got shit to stand for, then why the hell do you bleed? Some people say that you get what you deserve. Others say you get what you get. But if it don't break your leg or pick your pocket, or why judge a man on how he lives? You can have faith in God, but that don't mean that God is it. You don't give a damn about one another. And I don't care much for religion, but I know we got to look out for our brothers and sisters. Some say you get what you pay for, and others say you get what you need. But if you ain't got shit to stand for, then why the hell do you bleed? Some people say that you get what you deserve, and others say you get what you get. But if it don't break your leg or pick your pocket, why judge a man on how he lives? So go ahead, turn on the evening news. Let them spoon feed lies to you.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Booze and News. Got a special guest co-host today. Let me bring him on. Everybody say hey to Coleman Cox. How's it going there, bud?
Oh, hello.
What were you reading?
Promethea,
Oh, it looks cool.
Alan Moore.
Graphic
wrote
novel?
it. It's good. It's about different magic stuff. It's like a super, kind of like Constantine, sort of, but
Okay. Is it a graphic novel?
a lot lighter. Yeah. From, what year is this from? From the 90s, I'm sure, but I'm not 100%. From, I can't find it, 2003.
Well, awesome. John asked a question. He goes, why does the stream say 8/18/2021? I have no fucking idea why it says that.
What?
We time traveled, John, to the past, I guess.
No, it is 8/18.
Okay. I know, it is. We've time traveled.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I probably fucked something up. That's why it says that. So, But what we're not going to fuck up is this beer review. So Albert's missing out on this because he really wanted to review this beer, but he couldn't be here today. So too bad, so sad. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to be reviewing Yinling Traditional Lager. Now, have you ever had this before?
No, it looks very traditional.
It is. It is the oldest American brewery, if you didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yingling.
Yeah. And it just made its way to Texas. So it was like in almost every state except for Texas up until like 2 weeks ago.
You know how like beer brands have like the one hipster offshoot or whatever? They're like, let's do an IPA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They should do like Anakin Skywalker,
Mm-hmm.
right? And call it Youngling.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just...
And then you slay it.
You murk them.
Yeah, you slay that beer. What was that called? Order whatever? Order...
Huh?
What was the name of that order?
Order 69.
Was it 69?
No, it was 66.
Okay, 66.
It was 66. He was gonna do order 69, and he was like, "No, let's try murder first,
Nice.
and then we'll try 69 if that doesn't work."
Oh man, this looks fucking delicious. Look at that. It's like perfect head in this pour. Bam.
And is it the same? Does it say traditional lager and everything?
Yeah, I just got the cans. You have the bottle. So so they use green bottles, which is just another old school thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's try it out. Hell yeah.
It's good. It's kind of like toasted oats, sort of.
Yeah, so it has. Let me see if it has the grain build on this. Let me pull this up so everybody can see it. Where's my browser? Where the fuck did I put that? I feel like my vision is getting just worse by the day. Where the fuck is the browser?
Yeah, you look blurry.
Oh, I do? Hey, Pugsley, come here. All right, there we go. I gotta say I'm over 21. Yeah. I should have pushed remember. All right. Traditional lager. Famous for its rich amber color, medium-bodied flavor, roasted caramel malt for subtle sweetness, and a combination of cluster and Cascade hops. And Cascade hops is like a very American hop they've been using for a long time.
Wait, they add caramel to it?
Caramel malt. So like there's like shades. So what they do with like malts when they make the beer is they put it in this thing called a kiln, right? And they like roast it. And so like the darker that you roast it, the darker the color of the beer, and you're also going to get like darker kind of flavor, or not darker flavors, but more like roasty flavors, toasty flavors.
Right. Yeah. This tastes like Cheerios, like hard.
Yeah. It says born from a historic recipe that was resurrected in 1987. I don't know when was this founded? Because it says it's America's oldest brewery. Let me see here. When was Yinling?
Why is that a brag? We're the oldest brewery.
1829. Because Americans love beer. I mean, I guess everybody loves beer. But
nothing's more American than going out of business.
Nothing's more American than going out of business. Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, they probably disappeared during Prohibition, and then they had to come back, I'd assume.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they took a... How long did Prohibition last? Like 20 years?
No. I don't even know if it was 10 years. So it was one of the things that FDR ran on when he was campaigning was to end it, and bring back those jobs in the Great Depression, all those beer jobs and distillery jobs. But
FDR, I listened to a podcast about his terms.
Mm-hmm.
And, he seemed like a good guy as far as presidents go.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a very progressive guy. He wasn't gonna be, out of his own, free will. It was just the circumstances pushed him to it. But
yeah, he couldn't. He had polio.
Yeah, he also was like kind of close to a dictator. It just kind of depends on how you. I mean, he definitely was. He was elected 3 times or 4 times.
Yeah, that doesn't make him a dictator. I mean, he was elected and by a pretty wide margin too.
I'm not saying he makes him a dictator. I'm saying it's kind of close. Like once you get into that like decades of being in power. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like Putin. Do you consider him a elected official, or do you consider him basically like a dictator? You know what I mean?
I mean, are you a dictator if you're just? Does it make you a dictator if you're really charismatic and people like you?
I mean, Saddam Hussein was technically fucking elected too, right? So I don't know.
He was. He was.
Yeah, but also you couldn't run against him.
The Middle East.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's give this a rating on 1 to 10. Where do you put this lager? Traditional lager.
You know, I don't normally like lagers or like toasty thing. I don't know, but this is 10. I mean, if you like that, this is definitely as good as it gets.
See, it's really interesting to me because if I were having this on a blind tasting test, I would never go, oh, this is a lager. It does not have any of the qualities of lager to me, really. It's an amber ale to me. You know what I mean?
You have a better scope. I don't really drink I don't know the difference between lagers and pilsners and everything.
Well, you make them at different temperatures and they use different yeast, basically. It's not that big of a difference.
I got into to mead. What all did I bring down when I went to your house?
So much shit. I'm gonna go ahead and give this an 8. And actually, it's written right on my 8th Wonder Cup. Perfect. So 8 for this, just because I don't know, man. It's good. I like it. It's very malty, but it's just like an amber ale to me. It doesn't remind me of any lager at all that we have around here. What did you bring to my house? Dude, you brought so much shit. And like just thinking about it, I've been hungover all day. Like I'm just thinking about
that Bombay Tanqueray was really good. I tried that. I put that like in the freezer. Had it by itself, and then I mixed it with.
Which style was that one? It was in a green bottle. Wasn't that like a? Which one was that?
Gin. It was gin.
Yeah, I know it was gin, but I'm wondering, do you know what kind of gin it was?
Tanqueray. It had like some kind of rain pour. I'm really fucking stupid. I don't know what rain pour is.
Yeah, I forget what that is too. I used to know what that was. Yeah, that's a good gin. It's the #1 global gin seller apparently in the
Rain
world.
pour?
In the world, that Tanqueray.
Yeah, it's really good.
Huh? Yeah, I've had it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that company too. It's a good company. They make that. You had the you had the rain pour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's not the #1. The Tanqueray is the #1 in the world. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I usually drink Bombay, but now I switched to. I'll probably stay with that rain pour, or try the Botanist.
Do you
it's
like
it's a blue gin.
Do you like Hendrix?
It's okay. Hendrix is okay. We tried something from Hendrix at your house that was interesting.
Oh, it was probably the one that had the wormwood and all that shit in it.
Maybe. Yeah.
That one's really interesting. That's a Hendrix one.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We got the booze. We got our booze. I'm gonna be drinking, nursing my hangover. And thanks for joining us today, so we can get into it. And we got these topics. Our top story of the day is a man has died recently from using super glue to glue his penis shut instead of using a condom.
Yeah, that's because of COVID. He was that was his vaccine. He was like, you can't do my penis. These fucking cures are getting stupider and stupider, man. When is it going to stop? I'm just dying from like, let me super glue my penis shut. Next, I'm going to, didn't they have like corks?
Super glue.
Their
Yeah, I'm putting corks there. I'm just, all my shit is backing up inside of me and rupturing my intestines.
This is, transhumanism has got to stop.
Isn't it just proof that we live in the dumbest of times? Man dies after using glue to seal his penis shut instead of wearing condom. I mean, that's a fucking headline.
Yeah, I mean, we're technically smart because we have this technology, but we still use it for shit like, what if I put it on my dick? Everything has touched, every invention ever created by man has been touched by a penis. No one's been able to resist it. And scientists are stupid.
And scientists, yeah, fuck the scientists, dude.
No, every scientist before they make a big discovery is just some guy that's like measuring pee. Oh, I found a new disease, but really you're just some guy that likes looking at pee.
Likes looking at poop. You ever seen that It's Always Sunny episode where he's like, "Oh, you got some poop? I'll look at your poop."
Yeah, that'll be the new conspiracy we start. Scientists poop.
Man, they say this guy was on drugs, and that's why he glued his dick shut. I think he was probably just stupid. I've never been that fucking high on anything that I've tried to glue my penis shut, and I've done a lot of drugs.
I have.
You've glued.
Have you ever? You never been so high, and you're just like, you need to go out, but you're afraid you're gonna pee your pants. You know, you're like that fucked up.
I've just pissed myself before, yeah, I do not have a good bladder. I cannot hold. Like, when I start drinking, yeah, I gotta pee all the time. John said that intelligent. How did he die?
How did it kill him? How do you fucking die from that?
I don't know. He was found. It says he was found unconscious in the shrubbery outside of an apartment complex. So. Oh, he had. Oh, you know what? It said he had multiple.
He wasn't outside of his mansion.
It said that he had multiple organ failure, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, you're backed up probably into his kidneys and urinary tract and all that shit.
No, it's not gonna like. You have time to like fix it or go to the hospital. He must have died. That's fucked up. He did not die from gluing his penis shut.
No,
he died from.
It says that might have been his girlfriend that did it.
Well, this story just keeps. It's like a rose. It's just so many layers. It's blooming. His girlfriend may have glued his penis shut, but he died from stuffed bowel. What was it called?
Stupidity.
Perforated bowels. How do you die? I don't think you can die. I'm a super glue penis truther. You can't die. Steel glue can't melt penis beams.
Yeah. Well, speaking of super glue can't melt penis beams, that makes sense. So, speaking of dumb fucks and fuckery, science fuckery and all that, of course the big thing going on now is everybody's taking all of these MAGA people are instead of getting vaccinated, they're taking horse and sheep dewormer to treat their fucking COVID. What's it called? Ivermectin?
Ivermectin.
Yeah, Ivermectin. So that's the thing, and that like Rand Paul is saying that the reason why the FDA won't fucking study it is because they hate Trump. And it's like, I'm pretty sure they're not studying it because you're a fucking idiot and you're an eye doctor. And
Ivermectin already has. They already have like a human
dose. There is literally a human dose for it, but their people are not doing that. They're going to the fucking Tractor Supply store and they're getting sheep dewormer and they're taking it and they're shitting themselves. Sometimes they're going to the hospital because they're shitting themselves that badly.
Yeah. While ivermectin, I think even the human version of that has some obviously like antimicrobial, antibacterial properties, and some antiviral properties. People are taking it probably because they figure it's a dewormer and it kills like things inside of you that aren't supposed to be there.
Well, it's anti-parasite, but how does that fucking help the coronavirus?
They think that they don't. I don't think people that take ivermectin don't make a distinction between bacteria and viruses. That's the same flawed thinking that leads people into like, oh, my body's going to build this resistance to the virus if I don't wear my mask.
If I go lick stuff and drink some bleach.
Really, it's going to incubate and mutate. It doesn't have the kind of like
you know Milo Yiannopoulos. I always fuck up this guy's name. Yiannopoulos, yeah. So
Who knows how to pronounce her names?
Yeah, he fucking posted on Twitter him shooting up ivermectin because he has COVID, and now apparently Alex Jones, his favorite prodigal child, Joe Rogan, has fucking COVID, and he apparently is fucking taking ivermectin.
Yeah, his statement where he did kind of wedge it in there, like, oh, I took, and all of his like regular Joe Rogan bullshit. He also took like, oh, I took microtonal mushroom vitamin D
Right,
stuff.
DMT, and fucking elk meat.
And yeah.
So it's just.
He didn't say he took DMT for it, but I bet that would at least help.
It definitely crossed his mind. His very small mind, his very thumb-shaped mind. Yeah, I just think it's crazy. I mean, I seriously hope he shits himself so bad taking that stuff. And then, he can come talk to us about it. Oh, here's what he said. He's taken all kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies. That's the thing that only the rich people can fucking get anyway.
Yeah.
Ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And also I got an anti-D drip and a vitamin drip. Dude, he must be really sick, actually. Because that's intense for him to go through all that shit.
I think, I don't know. I think he just likes putting stuff in his body. When I read about him talking about different supplements and stuff like that, it feels like he just kind of likes.
Have you ever done a vitamin drip?
No. I have no idea.
It's actually awesome, but it's fucking expensive. It costs like fucking $300 or $400 to do it each time. So,
that's nothing.
So runners do it a lot, like when they're doing like marathons, to like put a bunch of vitamins and shit in their blood.
Okay, like for the marathon.
For the marathon, yeah.
They don't have a bag with them. They're like running a little hospital.
Right. I mean, that would be dope, actually, too. Well, let's see. What else are these dumb MAGA people up to? I wrote some more shit down because they just fucking shit up every week. Here's an interesting story. This woman is going to jail because she's completely lost her fucking mind. I don't know if you've seen this story. She went to a grocery store. Where was this? In Pennsylvania. And she started screaming that she had coronavirus and started coughing and spitting on the food at the supermarket. And they charged her with like $35,000 worth of merchandise. And yeah,
it's not funny. The pain and suffering isn't funny, but it is funny how seriously one side of the country rightfully takes it, and the other side is just like, I have corona. It's like a prank call or something to them.
Right.
Like,
well, and she didn't have coronavirus. She was doing it as like a fucking prank.
Yeah, sure.
And but dude, she's going to jail for like, how long is she going to jail for? It's a while. Because it's like a felony. It's basically, they've considered it like terrorism.
We found ourselves in a place where, and it was like a trope, it was a kind of a hack joke for a while, but conservatives have a lot in common with Al Qaeda. People have been saying that since the 90s. It's like, they hate women. They don't want women to have rights.
You mean Y'all Qaeda?
And they're willing to fucking kill people when they get mad enough to prove a point.
Oh yeah.
And now we're seeing them finally commit acts and say they're dipping their toes into terrorism, finding that the water's pretty good actually, for them.
And they're starting to crack down on them. There's all these new like task force that they're working on, and they're giving the Capitol Police all these kind of powers to fuck these people up.
I gotta take that back. That's a dumb statement for me. I like what was it? Goddamn, Timothy McVeigh.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, first right-wing terrorist.
Well,
not the first, but like one of the most well-known right-wing terrorists. But
right,
there's a lot in common between conservatives and radical Islamists now. Even though they like hate them, they just there's that.
Yeah, and John wrote in the comments that it's because they're both right-wing religious extremists. They both are. They're just the Muslim and then there's the Christian factions. They're both
42-year-old
they're
Nicole
both
Franklin seems confused during her
extremists.
court
I,
appearance
I
Friday
can see that
morning.
joining up in the future, actually.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's why they don't want to get it. That's why they didn't want to. That's why they're all mocking Joe Biden. They're like, we were making friends over there, man. We finally.
Yeah. Oh, and you talk about how they're starting just to hurt people now. Check this story out. This is another crazy MAGA person that's went to unhinged. Iowa woman who struck 2 children with her car sentenced to 25 years in prison for hate crimes. When I was reading this article, it just fucking crazy. So she hit a 12-year-old boy, and then like a 17-year-old girl, or was it something like that? Oh, a 17-year-old girl? I don't remember how old the girl was. But this is what she said. She said that she gunned her engine before the driver struck the child. And she said this was the incident that made national headlines because upon her arrest, Poole Franklin, the lady who committed this crime, told police she hit the girl because she was a Mexican. Poole Franklin went on to make a series of derogatory statements about Latinos during the interview. So even beyond that, it gets even crazier. She says at one point, she goes, I think she was like a Mexican or maybe a black person, or where's that at? I mean, she just all the racism. Oh, this is what she said. It's
fucking cartoon.
She believed that oh god damn it, where was it? I can't find it in this article. I can't even read today. But anyway, yeah, it's cartoonish, dude. Oh yeah, she said, yeah, the boy was black, the girl was Mexican. So she was just finding people of color and just fucking running them over with a car. That's basically it.
They have the same sort of far right conservatives have the same fascist tendencies as a lot of like dictatorships and everything. Everything we were against in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. Now they're sort of like, oh, you disagree with me? Well, you should die. Everyone.
Yeah, well, they're religious extremists. They're fucking.
They're worthless.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're and it's not surprising that they're both they're kind of into the terrorism thing. You know what I mean?
They hate people. That hatred is part of their cultural identity and like owning people and like dominating them. So I think they're proud, and then when they do dumb shit, they just are very loud about it.
I meant to bring this up when we were talking about the horse dewormer and all the other dumb shit. This story boggled my mind. So I just don't understand. Like, all right, let's just get into the story. This is on Reuters. Llama antibodies blunt COVID variants in lab trial, says Belgian startup.
Oh, so it was the llama ivermectin that people should have been taking.
They should have taken the llama ivermectin. Yeah.
Huh.
It says the technology which would supplement rather than replace vaccines by protecting people with weaker immune systems and treating infected people in hospitals is a potential game changer. So yeah, basically, I mean, I can see this. Here's the deal. For all the people who are immunocompromised, right, and or have strong allergy reactions to vaccines, right? I mean, that's a very small part of society, but it exists, right? Stuff like this is cool, right? It can help them, right? But why the fuck are people rushing to every alternative than just take the vaccine? I mean, this has to be now like probably the largest medical trial in human history, right? Like they've given out like I forget how many hundreds of millions, it's actually billions of vaccines that they've given out at this point. For COVID.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it makes, I mean, you need you need to find ways to treat people that have contracted COVID, that haven't gotten the vaccine, you know, sometimes through no fault of their own, or maybe they had legitimate concerns about the vaccine if they were immunocompromised or something. Like, who knows? I'm sure there are some people that aren't actually able to take the vaccine.
No, there are. I mean, and there are people who are on certain medications that have to be wary, right? So, like, a lot of the people who have, so a lot of the instances of the blood clots that have happened from the vaccine have come from people that were taking, like, estrogen or other things, right, that clashed with the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So
And it kind of does kick your ass after you take the vaccine that first time. The day after, a lot of people the day after I was completely sick.
Sure, but sometimes the flu one can do that too. I feel like, and I just feel like it's probably still a million times better than getting fucking COVID, right?
Hey, here's what I saw, because I like to troll the conspiracy Reddit.
Yeah.
I love looking at the new things people come up with. That's kind of like a breeding ground for some of the shittier ones. Somebody goes, does anyone know somebody who took the vaccine and then got pregnant? And I love that.
Oh God, yeah. That's one of their big conspiracies, is that it's depopulation. Yeah. Actually, they found that people who get COVID, they say 1 out of 6 are likely to develop. Men that get COVID, 1 out of 6 are likely to develop erectile dysfunction, early onset.
They get COVID.
Yeah.
Really?
So if you were worried about if you were worried about having babies, maybe get a vaccine.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, COVID seems to fuck with your body. It's like a dice roll. Like, some people don't get their sense of smell back. Some people have respiratory.
Yeah, it attacks the brain. That's part of the reason why it can just do all kinds of crazy shit, right?
Yeah, well, that's why conservatives don't care about it.
I wasn't using that shit.
But yeah, I don't know. It just feels kind of like, at first it was Trump, and then now it's COVID, and I'm tired of one thing dominating the news. You know what I mean?
Well, it's Afghanistan too. It's always the fucking. It's true, and a lot of things don't get covered. Like, what I would like to see dominate the news is fucking climate change, which is what we're about to talk about, because the fucking weather is insane. Like, that hurricane that just hit Louisiana, Ida. Did you read anything about that?
Yeah, it went right by here.
Largest guy. Oh, that's right. Did you get We didn't really have any rain in Houston. Did you guys get rain out in Nacogdoches?
We had some rain.
A little bit of rain.
But...
So they say that this was the strongest hurricane to ever hit Louisiana. This article said since 150 years, basically, but I read other reports saying it was probably the strongest ever, and potentially to ever hit the Gulf.
Yeah, that Mattress Mac. I love that guy. He sent a convoy out or something, like 30-something trucks full of supplies up to Louisiana.
Yeah, and he has. I don't know if you ever drive by his place. He has they have like rescue vehicles now that he's bought that are sit there on the lot.
He's fucking amazing, dude. He lets people stay inside of his mattress stores during the rain. He's like, I don't know. He's everything that people would expect from maybe, like, I don't know, Joel Osteen or somebody who instead fucking locks his church up and is an asshole, greedy fuck. He stands behind his beliefs. Now, like, he is in some kind of lawsuit or something for tax evasion or something like that. But he got in some trouble for trying to, like, avoid taxes or for not paying property taxes. And his public statement was like, "You don't do anything for me anyway." Yeah. It was like some city thing. I love that.
But I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. Like they're working on another pipeline right now in Minnesota, which is going to destroy the wetlands, and it's shit like that actually actively combats climate change, like wetlands and shit like that. You know what I mean? But we're just destroying it. We're just accelerating shit.
When you think about it, like, pipelines actually help climate change, because, like, otherwise you'd have to, how else are you going to transport all that oil? You got to get like 50 barges and fill it with like giant barrels and shit like that. That's not good.
Or maybe we could move to, I don't know, something like they're trying to do in France and go fully nuclear.
Yeah. I think we should go nuclear, and we should bomb ourselves first.
First of all, don't say that too much, because that one particular word flags the fuck out of YouTube. I have found this in the past.
Bomb?
Yeah, they don't like that word. They don't like that word.
What's the worst? Let me ask you, what's the worst for YouTube? Bomb or jihad?
Yeah.
Or what? Let me just tank all of your. I fucked this whole episode up probably right now.
It's all good. This is also surreal, talking about climate change. Check these photographs out. Look at these photographs of Lake Tahoe on fire, the ski resorts.
Yeah.
So
California had has their worst wildfire season on record.
So yeah, dude, it was a fucking 115 degrees in Portland this summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this shit looks dystopian. I mean, I don't even. Look at that shit, and it's sad because.
Well, fires always do, but this one's especially bad.
Mm. So anyway, I feel bad for those folks. I love Lake Tahoe. It's my favorite. Like it's probably the prettiest place I've ever been in the United States.
I feel like that's a first world problem. Boo-hoo, my ski resort burned down.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying this the ski resort. I'm just saying it's a gorgeous place, and it sucks that climate change is destroying fucking forest, and
I wish I could miss that place.
Well, I won't miss Galveston when the ocean takes it. I'll tell you that. I won't give a fuck.
I was gonna call Galveston third world. all the like regular people places are gonna be fine. It's the rich bougie. I mean, if the Earth really wants us to care about climate change, it's gotta wipe out Galveston, and then conservatives will be like, a volcano needs to explode under Nashville.
Yeah, or under like what's something that they give a fuck about? Jesus Land or something like a biblical amusement park. Yeah, that's a real biblical amusement park where they put like dinosaurs and humans in the same room, and they're like, this is how it was 7,000 years ago.
Man, wouldn't that be great if an asteroid hit Jesus Land, and then you have to get everybody like, this is I don't clearly, I guess there must not be a God.
Yeah, there must be a God. And if he must hate Jesus Land, if there is one. All right, well, let's move on from that topic to get into some more kind of depressing topics. We're going to talk about some Supreme Court stuff. The Supreme Court overturned the CDC eviction moratorium, which
they fucked up lately.
Which is pretty fucked up. I guess my major criticism of this is, though, that they warned they were going to do that the last time around, when they wrote their whatever paper about, like, because the CDC, when they did the first eviction moratorium, they said, hey, we're going to let this slide this time, but this should really be something that, that Congress passes, right?
Yeah.
And maybe an executive order, but Biden didn't do fucking anything, Congress didn't do anything, and so the CDC had to pass it, and it got overturned.
What's the status of the eviction moratorium now?
It's over. There is no more eviction moratorium.
No. They're chasing something.
You could evict people now.
Because I think Biden will do something. He's I don't know if you listen to Chapo Trap House, but they're doing they've dubbed him Base Biden, where he's kind of just a loser that's accepted it. And so, he got out of Afghanistan, but basically it was through his status as a loser that no one cared what he did, and they all thought he sucked anyway. So he's like, all right, let's do it. So with the eviction, he might as well, do an executive order for the eviction moratorium. It's not like he has anything else to lose.
Well, there's a lot of things that he needs to do, and the Congress needs to do, but they're fucked. They can't get anything done. They're tanking his entire infrastructure reconciliation bills, right? Because Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin don't want it. They want to do the one bipartisan bill, but they don't want any other shit for basically the jobs programs or to give out more stimulus or any of that.
Those clowns in Congress sure are a bunch of clowns.
Speaking of clowns in fucking Congress and this shit show that it is our conservative majority Supreme Court, did you see that Texas today passed a bill about banning abortions after 6 weeks?
Yeah, that was coming, and the Supreme Court backed it up, and so
yeah, the Supreme Court they did whatever they call a shadow doctrine, which I don't know what the fuck that is, but it sounds crazy.
fuck the government and this whole shadow thing. I hate the term shadow because it's like it adds this allure of mystery to everything. When really, I wish they would call it like something that doesn't make it sound so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like cheeky, crappy, shitty, shitbird, cheap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Suck ass doctrine, suck ass ruling.
I like that.
But anyway, it sucks. So we'll see what happens. There's a case coming up. So basically they've thrown out Roe v. Wade in Texas as of right now. You can't go to an abortion clinic, and because most women don't know they're pregnant until after 6 weeks. That's when you can determine the fucking heartbeat, right? So that's like when most people would find out. And the second thing is that
pregnant until.
The other thing is that there's a clause in this law that they passed that says that anybody who aids and abets in the abortion can be charged $10,000 in a lawsuit. So all of the clinics have stopped performing them, basically. And it's a really crazy law because it says, like, even if a Lyft driver were to give a lady a ride to an abortion clinic, right, he would be essentially abetting in the abortion.
Sir, you're gonna have to come with us. What did you do? You hit the walk sign across the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know she didn't look pregnant.
You sold her the tennis shoes she wore to walk to the abortion clinic.
Now it's just gonna be like, hey, can I get a ride? You're not trying to get an abortion, are you? Because I'm not trying to go to jail. Okay, cool. It's going to be a new thing, a new tick box Uber has in their app. Are you going to an abortion? Are you pregnant?
Yeah.
Are you pregnant, or do you not plan on becoming pregnant?
Yeah. Well, actually, that dickhead running for governor for California, whatever his name is, the conservative talk show host that's challenging Newsom, he was in the news for that recently, where he thought it was okay to ask women if they were considering being pregnant, like upon applying for jobs and whatnot. Are you pregnant? Do you think it's okay you think you're ever going to be pregnant while you work for this company? It's like,
what kind of question is?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that, man?
Yeah.
You might as well ask people, like, do you plan to buy a house?
Yeah.
While you work for this?
Well, he might.
You plan to make your life decisions while you work for this company, or
yeah, he may win.
So, I think there's merit in comparing the abortion, conservative views on abortion and conservative views about the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, so it's a human life here. We have to protect human life at all costs, but freedom is the most important thing in this area.
Oh yeah, it's always freedom.
Well, you be able to kill people and cough in their face.
Yeah, that's the freedom. The freedom is to murder other people. That's what makes America so free.
Protect the freedom, unless it has COVID.
Yeah.
Unless you have COVID and you want to exercise your freedom on the mother.
They don't understand, the irony of anything they do. They're like, my body, my choice, when it comes to like masks and vaccines and shit. And it's like, oh yeah, but ban the fuck out of them abortions over there.
I think it's more about kind of a parade against being reasonable or being good at all. It's sort of like freedom now just means the freedom to be a bad person and do bad things to people and get away with it. It seems like it's not so much the freedom to say what you want, which is also sort of going away, but what they don't really protect anyway. But
yeah, I mean, unless you're rich, I mean, that's always been kind of like that.
It's more about the freedom to just be an asshole.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, like it's under the umbrella, I guess.
I don't know. Because I would say that that's part of why you're not supposed to yell fire out in a crowded room and there's no fire, because that's being a fucking asshole.
I think, no, I have to take you up on that, because I think that's cool. Yelling fire in a crowded building is hilarious. And like, when I was a kid.
That would be a good stand-up bit.
Because hold on. Because they told me that, they taught me that in school when they were talking about the First Amendment, and they were like, you can't, like, say fire in a crowded room, and I was like, that would be kind of funny. Actually, that would be really cool if you did that, because everybody would rush for the exit, and then it would bottleneck. Yeah. But there wouldn't be a fire, so nobody would really get hurt unless they got trampled.
Which is why they say shit like that. Speaking of people getting hurt, I guess the war's over, technically, in fucking Afghanistan. They got all of the boots off of the ground of American soldiers. I mean, we still have drones over there bombing little kids, apparently. But, yeah. It's just crazy to me, all of the fucking warmongering that's going over. They want to send them back in to go... They want to send troops back in to go get fucking jeeps that they left and shit.
Oh, here's something that is a good litmus test for the days and weeks coming. When you hear people talking about Afghanistan on the news, there's this number, 100 billion or 85 billion that they're throwing around, and they're saying like, you know, we gave them 85 billion dollars worth of military equipment and shit like that. We wasted that money for sure, and you know it's gone, but they didn't get $85 billion worth of equipment. And if you hear anybody saying that number and saying that we gave them $85 billion, it's like a litmus test. You know they're lying, and they don't care about facts, and they don't care about the actual numbers.
They don't care at all. This is what Albert and I were talking about last week. You tell these people, they'll go, look, think of the women and children over there. And you go, well, fuck it, bring them all over here. There's like 4 or 5 million people that probably should come over here. And then they go, whoa. We're not doing that. We need to send these fucking troops back over there and, you know, continue to occupy this place and let their opium trade. I don't know. It didn't do anything. I mean, it fell so fast.
You can't be outraged about something and then have like let's solve it. Okay, the solution is this one specific thing, and then if we don't do this, all those people are fucked.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you're outraged because we're not doing the thing you think we should do, not that you care about human life or anything.
So, yeah, you don't care about those people. There was a really funny video of this woman who was like crying tears about the women and children, and as soon as they were like, well, do you think we should bring over some of those people as refugees? She fucking right away just stopped crying. She was like, no, we need to vet those people. They're dangerous criminals. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? I mean, it's...
And this country sort of thrives on immigrants and people coming here, and not in a good way necessarily, but that's what our country runs on. And
but the whole thing about overpopulation and overcrowding, that's all bullshit, man. There's so much goddamn empty buildings downtown right now, like in Houston. Like, right where the theater is, all of those fucking buildings are empty around me. They're just vacant because, one, people can't afford to be there, right?
No, they're not. You gotta realize it's not that they're vacant, and you're using the wrong terms. It's not that they're vacant, and it's not that it's empty space and we're wasting money. It's aesthetic now. It's design.
No one can afford it. No one can afford it.
Land. You know, it's like cool.
The business that was next to Rec Room is now the escape room. That's gone. It's all empty. That whole
to be fair, escape rooms always had they were marked for death.
Yeah, for sure.
Opened up, just like
it was a weird fad. It was like, well, you're a little bit younger than me, right? I'm 33, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than you.
So were you alive when the murder mystery dinner party thing was it? Like, do you remember that from like the 90s?
Oh yeah, yeah. And Reno 911 had an episode on it too. Like, all the cops were part of the murder mystery.
Yeah, I remember that. But that's what escape room was. It was just a fad, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of mysteries, this is something you and I have talked about. We haven't talked about this on the show because I was waiting until you came on. Let's talk about the Havana syndrome shit briefly here.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and explain what it is, kind of? Because I've been reading articles about it, but you're the one who told me about it, so I feel like you know more, essentially, than I probably do.
Havana syndrome is, which it's maybe a misnomer because it also occurred in China and possibly Russia, but definitely...
Most of the cases actually were in Germany and Austria. And
really?
Yeah.
Huh. So, U.S. diplomats and intelligence officials claimed that they experienced like Clinton, they experienced kind of a weird feeling, diarrhea, vomiting, and what would you call it? Like mental defects,
migraines, I think, and stuff like that. Yeah.
and they heard like the static noise, and there were different descriptions of it. People experienced it at different magnitudes, but they all, reported this. And then the CIA and intelligence agencies came out and they said, like, well, the leading theory is that they have a secret microwave super weapon that they secretly use on U.S. diplomats. And that was sort of, we always have a very tense relationship with Cuba for some reason. At this point, there's no real reason for it, but
there is a reason. There is a reason for it, because if there is a reason, because if they are successful with the socialism thing, then it makes capitalism look really bad.
Yeah, and you know what's fucked up is they've been successful. It's been successful. It's just not like taken off because we are strangling them.
Yeah. Yeah, we continually fuck with them.
They've remained a nation, and popular support for government policies in that country is still very high, even after every. This fucked everything up, sort of.
So it's
during, I think it was early Trump years when I first started.
So one of the interesting things about the Havana Syndrome thing that I've read is that, yes, for one, a lot of cases were like in Austria and in Belgium, but also they weren't sure if they don't know what it is, or they haven't announced. I mean, they say it could be a sonic weapon, it could be some kind of microwave weapon, right? The interesting thing to me is that America has had the potential for some of these weapons as well for a long time, right? Like, we have had sonic weapons that we've used to displace crowds and things. And there was also this phenomenon that occurred in Moscow called the Moscow signal, which was a microwave transmission varying between 2.5 and 4 gigahertz directed at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow from 1953 to 76. So, like, this isn't even a new kind of phenomenon. This is something that's been happening since, like, the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. There are a lot of different ways to fuck people's shit up, and the U.S. knows all about it. And but to me, for a country to research and deploy that, and then to do it to the U.S. seems short-sighted. And I don't think Cuba is short-sighted like that. They're not. They don't strike me as petty, or they wouldn't want to engage in that way.
I don't think it would be Cuba. If anything, I mean, if we're gonna go down that road, I mean, why wouldn't it be Russia, right? I mean, they're the ones who fuck with us all the time with cyber attacks and all kinds of shit, right? And propaganda and spies and all kinds of shit. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think something weird happened, and it's one of those things that I don't think we're ever going to get an answer to. But God, like, the idea of an answer is so tantalizing and juicy. Like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, you got some comments here, just so you know. Michael Mann says, "Good to see you, Keith."
I can't see him. Good to see you, Keith. What the fuck?
And Keith Ray's here, and he says, "Hola, Michael."
Oh. Keith Ray, what did Keith say?
He said, "Hola, Michael." He also said, "Housing, the longest running fad." And then he said, "Freedom of speech is the right to yell theater in a crowded fire." That's pretty good.
Man, I told you should get Keith on here. Did you reach out to him?
He is. He's going to be on our Instagram show. We got him coming up, which is dope.
What day?
Let me look and see. He's coming. I'm gonna have you on when we do that one too. Let's see. He is. Nope. Oh God.
Ray went on tour in 2018 with comedian Tom Goss from LA, and we stayed at Michael Mann's place.
October 10th.
Sure. What?
October 10th. So make sure I'll remind you so you can mark that down.
October 10th. Okay, cool.
It's a Sunday.
Also, in October, Dune comes out on October 22nd. I want to make sure to plug that. I have nothing to do with it, but I'm excited for it.
You read the books?
I read the books, and I'm 100% confident.
Did you ever watch the series?
It's going to get... What?
Did you ever watch the TV series?
Oh, yeah, the sci-fi series. I watched that.
That was okay. That was okay.
It was the thing is, it was like way more faithful to the books, but it was sort of boring. Mm-hmm. The David Lynch movie is sort of an oddity. I watched that a ton.
Well, David Lynch is sort of an oddity, just in general.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if anybody was gonna do Dune, I'm glad it was him, because at least he produced something that has some sort of like novelty value at this point.
Wasn't it supposed to be Dolly and this other crazy what's his name? The crazy psychedelic director?
Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
Jodorowsky. I think he had Dolly on there, but Pink Floyd was supposed to do the soundtrack. David Carradine was supposed to play Vito. I forget who was going to play Paul, but like all the crazy. Yeah, Jodorowsky's doing is the one you hear all the crazy shit about, and but you look at the plot and it has nothing to do. Nothing.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, because that's the kind of guy he was. But also, I don't feel like I read the first 3 books, I think, and even Lynch's has nothing really. I mean, it does, but it's just so weird the way that he kind of filmed it, made everything look
very fast. It should have been 2 films. He jammed it into one, and so you're getting all this you're getting a setup, but then the exposition and everything is so tense. And the way that Frank Herbert wrote Dune is very like kind of slow reveal, and then kind of slower in the middle. You have some like battles and stuff like that, and like things he overcomes. But then at the end, there's this big crescendo, and it's like condensed in this like last chapter, and it's amazing, which I just ruined for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck
so
you.
I'm excited to see what happens with it, because I'm a fan. And I just don't really like David Lynch's work. So I thought, I get why a lot of people were turned off by the original Dune movie. Twin Peaks was okay. It's a weird fucking teenage soap opera.
You're wrong, but
what, you loved it or what?
Oh my god, yeah, I love Twin Peaks.
I mean, it's just a soap opera. It's just like a
amazing
soap opera with a weirdo director.
It is like a soap opera, but that's the point. Is that all these characters, they get their motivation from television and from media, and they try to act it out in the world, and all they do is fuck things up and cause tragedy because things aren't like that. Yeah. And that was the point. That was the point of Twin Peaks for me, is that everyone in the show is trying to live this like TV-like life and have this kind of TV drama, but it doesn't quite work in the real world, and so that kind of the acting that comes out in Twin Peaks doesn't seem quite right. It I don't know, works very well for me. For what I think,
I watched it. I did. I mean, I'm not gonna say I hated it. It was good. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the reasons why I liked it was because probably like the weird red room stuff and some of the like camera tricks and stuff that he would do. You know what I mean? But the soap opera type shit that wore me down. It was to the point where sometimes I felt like just turning it off.
The soap opera stuff is not supposed to be engaged with. It's not supposed to. I don't think the soap opera stuff, you're not supposed to experience it as like, oh yeah, I care about these characters and everything. You're supposed to experience it as like, oh, this is sappy and stupid, and they think that like they're only doing this romantic scene with each other because they saw that on television and they're trying to recreate that in the real world, and it doesn't work.
Did you ever see Eraserhead?
Yeah.
I barely made it through that one. That's just a fucking...
That one was fucked up. I have no idea. I don't interpret things very well, and that makes me feel stupid that I don't. But I haven't seen it in like years.
I don't think there's anything that you can interpret from it. It's just fucking creepy and weird. I
think there is a meaning to it, but
I have to go back and watch it again. It's been so long, but I don't want to watch it again because it was painful. It was literally painful to watch, like with the weird baby. I mean, But speaking of entertainment, I do have some entertainment news I want to talk about. We got a couple more things I want to mention. So hypocrisy at its finest was kind of on display last week when Tony Hawk came out with a skateboard that used his blood in it. Do you see that?
Fuck yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
fucking little to no outrage about it when every conservative wanted to cancel Lil Nas X for his Satan shoes that had blood in them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. I mean, he had a tweet. See if it's in this article. I don't know if it is.
To be fair, it's not a one-to-one comparison because is Tony Hawk calling it like a Satan board or something?
This is the picture of it.
What is that a picture of? I can't
It's
see it.
it's a like a man with a bloody axe holding the Tony Hawk skull, and it's got the blood all over it.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
it is awesome. I think it looks fucking amazing. And Tony Hawk also. There's a picture of him here with it says, "I am Tony Hawk, and I hereby verify that I have given my blood (parentheses soul question mark) to liquid death." So he sold
Yeah.
his soul. He sold his
That's
soul.
pretty one-to-one. It's
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there should have been outrage about it, but I don't know.
but
I mean,
but
I think,
conservatives really don't give a shit.
a lot,
It's all about Lil Nas X being gay and trying to convert the children to gay, make them queer. That's all they think. They're making our kids gay.
to be more specific, I think people interpreted Nas's thing as an attack on their, which it wasn't, and it's fucked up that it got that outrage. But also, I mean, like he probably did it for the outrage. To be fair, I mean, I think he did it to get like people pissed off about it.
Michael Mann says that Kiss put their blood in the ink of their comic book. See, I hate Kiss, like the band, like their music, and I've seen them live and they were really bad. But I love like Detroit Rock City. That movie's so fucking good, and I love just like the crazy shit like that, like all the merchandising bullshit that they did.
Yeah, they were a phenomenon, and you have to kind of appreciate that. That happened. That so many people were enamored with these group of clowns.
Right? Yeah. It's crazy.
I like some of Kiss's songs, but I also get the hate for them.
Yeah, they're not very good. And I saw them live once, and I was just like, oh my god, this is literally just pyrotechnics. It's absolute sounds like shit. You know. There's only like two living members of the band that were still alive. The rest were like replacements.
Yeah. Gene Simmons looks kind of run down. I think Paul Stanley got COVID or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Speaking of kind of clowns and entertainment.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, speaking of clowns and entertainment, we might have split hairs on this one, but I am not a Kanye West fan. I've also seen him live. I thought he sounded like absolute dog shit when I saw him at Outside Lands in San Francisco. Anyway, he just did a live stream listening party for his Donda album, and I don't know if you've heard anything about this. I watched some of it. It was like an hour and a half long, but I perused through it. Have you seen anything about it or anything about it?
I read that Universal released an album of his without his consent before it was released. But also, you know, I don't listen to Kanye West.
That happened like the day after his listening party, by the way. So he did this listening party, and then they dropped it.
Tell me if you know more about this, but people have been saying he's kind of his own worst enemy, and he'll kind of work things to death, and so they're kind of glad to get something that fans are sort of glad to get something they don't normally see, which is like a rough cut, something that hasn't been edited to death by Kanye.
Right.
What I read.
So, I haven't actually listened to the album since it's been on iTunes. I did watch, like I said, like the live stream, which I think is like the rough cut. I don't think it's the polished album that or whatever they released. But, all right. So, it was pretty crazy what he did. He was at like some massive football stadium, right? And in the middle of the arena, he had his childhood house right there. Because the album Donda, that's like a reference to his mother who passed. So anyway, that he's got this, and that all around it, throughout the entire fucking hour and a half, there's like people in these like SWAT uniforms, hundreds or thousands of people, maybe, I don't know, just marching around and doing all these dances and shit in these SWAT uniforms that say like Donda on the back, right? And on the front porch of his childhood home that he has there is Marilyn Manson and DaBaby, who are both like recently canceled members of Hollywood elite, right? DaBaby for his homophobic remarks and Marilyn Manson for his sexual abuse allegations, right? They don't really contribute whatsoever. DaBaby raps like for like 5 seconds on a song. Most of the time, they're just sitting there, dance like this, while Kanye's around rapping, or pantomime rapping, like whatever you call that, right? Like lip syncing. Anyway, then as the show progresses, it comes to this big conclusion at the end where he lights himself on fire in the house and then walks out, right? And he's extinguished with fire extinguishers, and there's this big giant cross there too. I forgot to mention that. There's a giant fucking cross that is like illuminated throughout the entire show. And there's a lot of Jesus stuff that he talks about, and Christ and all that. And anyway, after he's is on fire and gets put out of fire, you see Kim Kardashian walk out in a wedding dress and veil, and and Kanye walks out, and the whole concert he's wearing like this balaclava mask, right? So you can't see his face. And at the very end, like when they get together and they start like saying some kind of vows or something, he takes his mask off, and then that's the end of the concert. So they got like remarried or something, like well, theoretically.
Divorced?
Yeah,
they got divorced.
Yeah. Oh, and his kids were there, like in the show.
Man, if I could I don't listen to Kanye's music. Not that anything against it, but if I could like roam around in any star's head, it would be Kanye.
Oh yeah, he's crazy. He's a fucking
crazy
person.
Got to be like fucking Alice in Wonderland up there, man. Like there's so much fucking weird like ego and emotion and shit.
I assume he's on fuckloads of pills.
He seems like he'd be fun to hang out with, but that's what
really. And he sounds crazy. I don't know if I want to hang out with him. I would like to see what I don't know if I'd even want to get into his head. It sounds scary, but I guess what I was gonna say is like about this is that okay, that's a lot of spectacle. That's a crazy show that he put on, right? But he obviously was trying to do some metaphors there about like his rebirth, right? By being burned alive and put out and then coming back and getting married and Christ is risen, and that's all part of his imagery, right? With Yeezy or whatever. But also the Marilyn Manson and DaBaby thing, you know what I mean? Like
I think his exposure and his ego he has no ability to be subtle,
yeah,
or coy or anything. He's sort of just like I think he tells it how he thinks it is, but I think how he thinks it is also influenced a lot by sort of capitalism and consumer culture and things that rot your brain, and his brain's rotted.
Well, he thinks he's a genius, and everybody's a sycophant. Like, oh yeah, you're a fucking genius.
I think he is a genius. Kanye is a genius. He is.
No way.
But yeah, no, he is a genius. But people with high IQs,
he doesn't have a high IQ, and he's not a genius.
Destroy themselves.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's a genius or that he has a high IQ. I think that he was a decent enough producer. Right, very talented producer, right, and he had some hits, and he made a lot of money because he owned his own music, a lot of it, right, and he transitioned that into this fashion that made him fuckloads of money. But fashion is all just bullshit. There is no genius to that. Like I've seen his clothes; it's ridiculous. His like shoes don't make any sense. You know what I mean? Him and so in my opinion, he just got fucking lucky. And he gets a lot of credit for being a genius, just like Elon Musk gets credit for being a genius. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And they're both just kind of frauds.
I think people have. I think the idea of a genius is somebody who's sort of like collected.
Mhm.
I think geniuses fuck their lives up.
Yeah.
And make bad decisions, and kind of live a step outside of reality.
I wouldn't say that's geniuses. I would say that is artists. Because I think real geniuses don't do that. I think real geniuses, like that chick who invented, who was like the actress who invented, what was it? What's her name? Damn it. I'm gonna find her name up.
Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina?
The one who invented Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle. Here,
Oh, you're talking about, no, I know who you're talking about. Bombshell Lamar, right? Something.
what the fuck is her name? I can't believe I'm forgetting it.
I know.
Heidi
No,
Lamar. Heidi Lamar. Yeah.
Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah. Who invented Wi-Fi and all this shit? She didn't fuck her life up. She was a real genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real geniuses, though. Artists, yeah, they fuck up their lives because they're not geniuses. They're fucking troubled people.
Right. Successful geniuses can completely fuck their lives up, especially when you have, like, you know, if you get success while you're young. I think a lot of Kanye's problems come from him overthinking things, and you know, he seems to me like somebody that has a high IQ that, like, is totally wrapped up in himself and fucked up and just shallow. I don't know.
Keith Ray said that Kanye was the bad guy from Pootie Tang. I don't think I ever. Is that a movie? I never saw that.
Yeah, Pootie Tang is the worst movie ever made.
Well, I'm glad I've never seen it. Well, speaking
It's
of
worth. Chris Rock is in it. Fucking, I think Louis C.K. was in it and wrote it. I thought Louis C.K. was the bad guy from Pootie Tang.
I don't know. We got just two more topics here because we got to talk about sports. We can't have a news show without sports. The first sports topic was Jake Paul had that fight with Tyrone Woodley, right? In which he got a controversial split decision win. And now he's announcing, I guess he's retiring from boxing, which I'm fucking stoked about because I'm tired of hearing about this fucking guy. He doesn't even fight boxers. You know what I mean? Do you know anything about Jake Paul in his boxing?
I know nothing about. Is he related to Logan Paul?
He is. He's his younger brother.
Oh.
And they're both boxers now, or they claim to be. Although they don't. So in boxing I think is one of the most fair sports in all of sports, right? Because you have a weight class, right? Like they have things in there that make it fairer than other sports per se, right? Like you don't box out of your weight, right? You know what I mean? But these guys, Logan Paul and Jake Paul, they don't do any of that. Logan Paul fought like Mayweather, and he's like a foot taller than him and like 100 pounds heavier. You know what I mean? That's not real boxing.
No, well, they got to draw.
They got to draw, yeah. But yeah, so Jake Paul fought this guy who was like a UFC guy. He's not a boxer either. He's fought a couple of UFC guys. Neither of them were boxers. They were more like wrestlers, right? And he fought like an NBA player and like another YouTube guy or some shit. You can't consider yourself a boxer unless you're fighting other boxers. I don't get that, right? Like,
the world of competitive sports is all about money, and it's all about what people want to watch. And that's existed for longer than this has been going on. We just have celebrities now that are willing to fuck each other up. But you look and you see fights, and it's like MMA player versus boxer, and it exists. And there's here's an MMA fighter versus a giant sumo wrestler. And
yeah,
I had weird pairings like that because people would watch it. And
I could go and have a race with a sumo wrestler. If I win, does that make me an excellent fucking, athlete, a fast runner or whatever? I feel like that's ridiculous.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you an excellent runner in your own right, but people want to see those two things stacked up. It's compelling, and when you have that celebrity aspect to it, then you get things like, yeah, I want to see celebrity deathmatch. Fuck yeah, I want to see the Dixie Chicks fight Barbara Walters or whatever. I don't know.
Well,
But
Michael Mann had a good point. He said everybody will tune in to see Logan Paul get punched in the face, and I think that's what this is. I feel like Logan Paul and Jake Paul are just so cringy, shitty, despicable, kind of everything that's wrong with like the whole TikTok, YouTube, like elite, and everybody just wants to see them get their fucking clock clean. You know what I mean? They want to see them get knocked the fuck out. That's what people watch for. They're not watching because they're looking for a good boxing match. You know what I mean?
they're not. And but to be fair, a good boxing match, like a good standard boxing match, is boring.
I like boxing though. I really do.
Mike Tyson was such a phenomenon because he was so powerful and fun to watch. And he
would dodge like crazy, kind of like Ali would do. You know what I mean?
He would dodge like crazy, sure, but he
knock
would come
out too.
Yeah. Like he looked like he could fucking rip somebody apart, dude. He was insane, but that's compelling, and it's compelling to see people step outside of the box, and people that enjoy boxing. You enjoy boxing, and there are rules to it and everything like that. But for people that aren't versed in boxing, that's why it's so big. Mm-hmm. Is like it brings in all these other people that aren't just there for the rules and for a regular match. You know, right. They want to see Little Nas get punched in the face.
There's a lot of people that want to see Little Nas get punched in the face, but that has nothing to do with boxing.
They want to see Little Nas do a kickflip contest with Tony Hawk, and then whoever loses has to get blown by the other guy. That's what people want. But
that's what I want. You read my mind. I don't know. I like boxing. Like Tyson Fury, I've been a big fan of his. He's got a very unique style. Like I like boxing more than kind of UFC because UFC is just a fucking crazy free for all. It's just basically like a street fight. You know what I mean? There's rules, right? But the rules are like, hey, don't gouge someone's eyes out. Don't bite them. You know what I mean?
Don't fucking kill him, man.
Don't kill him. You know.
His neck. That would be great. That'd be the ultimate move, dude. If somebody just like snapped the other guy's neck in like 5 seconds. Dude, I'd watch. You know, who could snap the other guy's neck first? Like that's the fucking contest.
Stabbing. Yeah. That should be a whole sport. Just called stabbing or knife fight.
Yeah. The knife fight league.
The knife fight league. Man. Speaking of the NFL, they just they just partnered with the gambling industry. Like they announced that for this season. I'm surprised they haven't done that a long ass time ago. I mean, sports gambling is such a part. Gambling is such a part of sports. I feel like. Especially
you think they would have had a relationship before this, but I mean, you know, they just had too much integrity.
Too much integrity. Well, I don't know. I think gambling is ridiculous, but I also think that it should be legal. I think most things should be legal. If you want to smoke crack and fuck your own life up, hey, it's apparently legal to take horse dewormer if you want to, and I feel like that's fucking stupid. So, you know,
yeah,
it's a free country, freedom.
Well, I think it's about what makes money and what puts asses in the seats.
Yeah.
And gets on television. And celebrity death matches off the air.
I know, unfortunately, but maybe they'll bring it back one day.
Becoming reality slowly because people realized it would make money.
Yeah.
It's been. I mean, that's always been part of.
Well, we're gonna get a watch. I think we'll get. What were you saying?
The celebrity thing has always been part of boxing to an extent.
Yeah.
Once boxing became celebrities, but
I think we're eventually going to have real life celebrity deathmatch when we get fully into this depression, and they're going to turn on a lot of these assholes, and there'll be like another Bastille Day, and we'll get to watch the poor people literally eat like Elon Musk, probably people who worked at Tesla. And that's going to be amazing, and I hope it's broadcast over the internet so I can enjoy it too. You know.
It'll be like Zombieland when they find Bill Murray, except they don't hang out with him; they just stab him to death and eat him.
Hell yeah, Knife Fight
Oh,
League.
Liberty! Wow, your food. We're eating you now.
Knife Fight League. We're gonna start it. You and I will be the first two, and then there'll be one, and then that'll probably be the end of it because murder and all that. But you know.
Yeah, you're not really like making a lot of money off of. I mean, you know, you can. You better make a lifetime worth of money if you're in a knife fight. That shit will. You'll get put out of the game, man. After the first match.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anybody walks away. There's no way to get a consistent record in knife fighting unless you're just fucking like insane. You have to be an insanely good knife fighter. You have to not get cut at all.
I bet.
So one cut.
I bet like Jackie Chan would be really good at it. He got all that fucking agility. Yeah, but I'm talking like in his prime.
Get that guy from the raid. But the thing is, like with knife fighting, you know, there aren't a lot of defensive moves.
Well, actually, that's probably the people who'd be the best at it are probably just like really big motherfuckers who can take a stab, like people who are in prison who've been shanked many a time.
Maybe there's some cross between sumo wrestling and knife fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No.
Well, it's worth thinking about. I'll brainstorm on it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
you know, that'd be helpful actually to have like a circle in the knife fighting ring, and if you step outside of it, you're a chicken or whatever. You know, you don't get stabbed, but you lose the match.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know. I mean, I guess there was an equivalent to this in medieval times, right?
Oh yeah. There used to be a thing where if you divorced your wife or something, the guy had to stand in a hole, and the wife had to like whack his head, and he had like a knife or something. I don't know.
What? All right,
Weird.
you can't just say shit like that, and then I gotta look up that. This is a medieval thing, or when was this?
I made it up.
Oh, okay.
No, it's real. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was on one of those like one of those reconstruction shows or whatever.
If he cheated on her, or what was the reason why he had to do this?
If they wanted to get a divorce, I think the husband had to stand in a hole, and the wife had to whack him on the head with rocks until he was dead, or probably unconscious.
Wait, there's no way. Wait, the woman got to hit the guy in the head with the rocks?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound much like
best to remember it. But that is a good point. You know, I mean, they're really standing by guns. Like, you want to get separated, kill him.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't like him that much?
I feel like that's. I just feel like I'm skeptical if that's the way it went down, because men have always had the upper hand. Typically, it would be like, oh, I'm gonna get a divorce. Let's just burn this one. She's a witch, and get another one.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I mean, you don't think about like, you know, they don't teach you that in history class, but there are all these little weird niche things that happened in like old English culture that we just don't hear about because they're kind of stupid. And they point out how stupid people are and how stupid society is. I mean, you know, you hear things about like revolts and progress, but all the dumb shit you pick up online, you know, or on TV.
Well, I can't find anything about this. Oh wait, this is it, I guess. Wait, let me see if this is it. The divorce hole? No.
That's got to be it.
Is this it? Okay, so let me pull this up so everybody can see it. This is crazy graphic of like a guy, and it looks like he's clubbing her right in the vagina while she's beating him in the head.
And yeah, that's the divorce hole.
Now that romance of Valentine's Day has passed, it's time for the breakups to start. University of Oklahoma. That doesn't sound like a real place. This method of judgment was usually undertaken by men, but women weren't immune to participating. If a woman was accused of a crime and wanted her fate to be determined impartially, she could demand a trial by combat. Oh, okay. So that's what this is. They put the dude in the hole to give him a disadvantage in the trial by combat, basically.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna whack her in the, vagina with this club thing.
Yeah, but that's.
And she's got like a big fucking mace.
They were. You don't really see that kind of progressive thinking and other areas of medieval culture. So it's kind of heartening a little bit that they did try to even the playing field.
Yeah, but see, I'm looking at this last photo where he's now got her in the hole. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that probably didn't really work out, but it was worth a shot. I mean, like I said, it was the thought that counts. It was the progressive thought that counts.
I think it was enough to deter most divorces or most like spats. Like, okay, you want to get separated? All right, we're gonna dig a hole, and your husband's gonna get in it.
Yeah,
He's gonna whack you in the vagina with a baton, and we'll see who wins.
it just
like,
sounds
okay,
kinky.
well, I
It
guess
just
I'll
sounds
walk.
kinky when you put it that way. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, on that note, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Michael, man, and Keith Ray, and all you guys, thanks for your comments. It was good. John, thanks for tuning in. All y'all, we appreciate it. Hearing back from y'all during the live stream. We will be back next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, with Albert, I assume. I don't know what's going on with him. He's got baby drama. So, everybody stay out there and stay safe. Sunday, if you get a chance, tune into our Instagram TV show that we do, Booze and News Interviews. And I have a really funny comedian from Houston, Micah Green. Do you know Micah?
Yeah, Mike is great.
Yeah, Micah's great. So come check him out. He's a cool dude. He's
Ask about point of sale systems.
Ask him about point of sale systems. Will do.
Yeah.
I love his animations. They're fucking weird. They remind me of like Salad Fingers-esque shit. Yeah. Anyway, so come check that out. Subscribe to Blues and News so you can see when we go live and we post content. And cheers, everybody. Thanks, Coleman.
Bye, y'all. See you again.
See ya.